Today I'm going to show you how to install the ShatterShield replacement lens for the Droid Turbo 2. This is the outermost layer for this Android phone. What comes in the box is the actual lens itself, the dry cloth, the removal pick, and the wet wipe. To remove the lens, it's relatively simple. You're going to take your plastic tool and slide it between the power button and the top of the phone, get it underneath that top layer, and then just peel it off away from the device. Make sure not to use anything metal because you can scratch the lens underneath the top lens because that is made of plastic as well. So be careful. You can see the plastic edges here that your new lens is going to sit down inside. And I'm going to take the wet wipe and clean off the outside of the phone, making sure that there's no residue or anything else like dust specks, which are going to be your worst enemy during this installation. Once everything is cleaned off with the wet wipe, I can switch over to the dry wipe. And the main goal of the dry wipe is to get rid of all of the dust specks. You only have one shot with the plastic lens. Once it touches the phone, it cannot be removed or it will lose its clearness. So make sure that there are no dust specks at all underneath this lens. The lens has two protective coatings on it. We're going to remove number one, making sure not to touch the lens itself, because if you do touch it, it'll make the clearness go away on the back of the lens. The lens will only stick to one thing one time. One last check to make sure there's no dust, and I'm going to take the lens and line it up with the earpiece first, making sure that the lens is dead center inside of that little slit at the top of the lens. Once I've made sure it's dead center, I can press it down with my finger and that'll tack it to the top of the phone. And then you can eyeball the bottom two slots, or you can take your hands and touch the edge of the screen protector and the phone at the same time to make sure it's completely parallel with the rest of the device. Once it's resting on top of the phone, you can take your hand and press down in the center and make an X or a cross, and then you can press out any of the bubbles inside. This is just making sure that no bubbles get caught underneath the lens when it's all pressed down. So work your way towards the edges. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. Don't forget to like if this video helped you, and subscribe. It does help me out a lot. You can also hit me up on Instagram or Twitter at ZachsJerryRig. Once all the bubbles are pressed out, grab that number 2, the top protective coating on the lens, and peel that away, and you are set. The lens should fully adhere to the phone within 24 hours, and that's all there is to it. Thanks a ton for watching. Hope to see you around.